the dampenings are off. So these are going to have much more of an impact on the solar activity, the physical activity. I've briefly touched on this before. I will do an expanded video on this. The energy shifts that are happening right now are a little bit intense, to say the least. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to stay on top of this because the end of 2023, we started to see a massive increase in the energies coming into the earth. The easiest way to look at this in a quantifiable manner is to look at the solar activity. That is only a small part of what is happening from an energetic perspective. It is a really good indicator, especially if you aren't completely tuned into what is happening on an energetic perspective. As I've mentioned, there are indicators on the Schumann resonance that show when the Earth is going to go through a little bit of a shake-up. There were some really strong indicators towards the end of last year that we then saw play out in things like solar storms and massive solar flares and coronal mass injections that come into the Earth. Scene change. This directly coincides with the changing energies that have come through. And that isn't all because of the physical activity happening on our sun. The energies that are coming through are very much in our favor and are kind of like a support system for the mass awakening and the ascension that many people are experiencing. These energies are here to support that. There is a lot working in the background right now. One of the big things with 2024, really exciting updates that have happened is that the dampeners have come off for the energies that are coming in. So, although we had already experienced a change in solar activity and the physical energies hitting the earth, the dampeners are off. So these are going to have much more of an impact on the solar activity, the physical manifestations of that in the earth, as shown in things like earthquakes and lightning storms and volcanic activities, that sort of stuff. That can all be expected. But the reason why I wanted to film this video, and perhaps for me, one of the most exciting parts, is this is directly going to correspond with an increase in the awakenings, and along with that is an increase in the awakening symptoms that people are experiencing. Just after the start of the new year, we got a little bit of a reprieve from these energies, and that was basically so that we could adjust to the new ones that had already come in, integrate them, and prepare our energy bodies for the next lot of waves. So this started increasing again about a week ago, and in the last day and a bit, probably two by the time this is posted, there was a lot of activity on the sun, and the knock-on effect from that has yet to fully play out in the earth. We are expecting by the end of the week, roughly, the next lot of plasma waves, which are huge, to hit the earth from the last lot of activity. We will see an increase in those natural occurrences I've mentioned from this towards the end of the week. Because it also coincides with a full moon, you've got two totally different energies at their max playing out. And that is actually going to cause a little bit more of a conflict. I don't think some people have quite realized that just yet. Even people posting about the solar activity and what that means. That's excellent. But all the more reason to be just a little bit more prepared is these celestial bodies, the sun and the moon, are actually representative of our feminine and masculine dimensions or qualities. And I'm not talking about gender. I think we're at a stage where almost all of us know that we have both of those dimensions to us, and you can feel that within yourself. Some days you're feeling just a little bit more inclined to one side than the other. This change actually happens in absolutely everybody periodically throughout the day and rhythmically reflected in our breathing cycles throughout the day. There's some people hearing this that won't think that resonates quite well with them, and I'm just a powerful goddess and I'm always in my divine feminine energy. And I have to tell you, you are wrong. If you are always in your feminine energy, then you are imbalanced because we're meant to be both. But that's a whole other video. We'll get back to that. The reason why I'm saying all this is because by the end of the week, when we experience the plasma wave that is already on its way to Earth, we need to be aware that this is going to bring an increase in those masculine energies, and particularly it's going to stir up a bit more of that fight response and aggravation. And at the same time, we're having a peak in the lunar cycle, which is that more feminine energy and more on the intuition with feelings rather than logic. And when those two peaks come together, there is likely to be a few clashes. And this will play out in relationships. And I'm not talking heterosexual relationships. The man and woman are going to assume their normal roles and stereotypical crap and clash. This could be a same sex couple or even within yourself, because we all have those sides. You'll feel the conflicts around you between the masculine and feminine. So when those energies are also allowing the ascension, excellent. But when you've got a situation in place like this where those two clashing energy fronts are there, if you're not in total alignment, and let me tell you, almost nobody is, you're not in total alignment yet, expect conflicts. You're going to have crap arise that you don't really want to look at yet. And that feminine side is going to want you to sit with the feelings and work through them a little bit more. And your masculine side is going to resist them. Anger and reactivity happening just a little bit more. And that also might lead to the shadow raising its head just a little bit more. And that's also something that I'm going to touch on very soon, because our shadow work is extremely important. So, to summarize this, because again, I think this is really deserving of its own video and something I want to dive into a little bit later, is the fact that we're in for a more tumultuous end to the week than we might be anticipating. Because of the chaotic energies, also, it's going to be really important to work on both guarding your energies and grounding your energies. And I'll probably do a few more posts about those specific topics throughout the week because they're going to come in extra handy. If you don't have a regular grounding practice happening, now's the better time than any to start that. Also, especially if you're a little bit more sensitive to these energy shifts and you find them having an impact on your energetic field in terms of you get drained a lot. I know this is something that's very common. At times I've experienced this too. If these sorts of shifts drain you, then be prepared to be extra drained by the end of the week. Now, I know with the full moon coming that the full moon normally energizes me a lot, and a lot of my witchy friends out there will also know this effect quite well. But you're going to have a direct opposite force working against that as well. So expect a few energy slumps. Spend some time having a bit more of a restful in between if you can. Focus a little bit more on your self care through this week and get yourself as prepared as possible so that by the end of the week, when things are peaking, you're rested, you're prepared, your energies are centered, you're grounded, you've got your little protection bubble happening, and you can take full advantage of the beautiful energies that are coming in. And if something arises, then you can look at that from the most prepared, armed, and energized perspective. So I'll get back to this later. Please remember you're not alone on this journey. So reach out to me, send me a DM if you really want someone to talk to. I take this very seriously, so I want to know you're okay. And also, if you've got any advice or anything that you would like other people to be able to learn from or to help them through these energy shifts, leave them in the comments so we can all benefit from them. And I will see you all later. Blessed be.